coaching licenses for the first couple, sitting in the back of the room, kicking my feet up, being more than happy. I didn't ask any questions, didn't want to open my mouth and show that I didn't know enough. And I started noticing the people in the room, the smartest people, the coaches who I wanted to be as successful as, were the ones sitting in the front asking more questions, paying more attention than I was. And that was kind of a big wake-up call for me. So never stop learning your craft. And then finally, we need better parent education. And I'm going to help you guys start that tonight. Because we don't want this, we want this. Right? We want the environment to belong to the kids. We want the sidelines to belong. We want them to be able to make decisions and mess up and tidy up on their own. So I have a quick video here which I'm going to show your parents tonight, but I just like this video so much I'm going to show it to you too. I found it on YouTube. I have no idea where it is. One day someone's going to walk out of the crowd and punch me.
I'm just saying a prayer that I'm not in.
You are not.
Father guy on the left looks a little like
So I'm not seeing any familiar faces just yet here.
I'm reading another book that was a seminar y'all put on a couple. I'm rereading the book, and one thing they had asked your kids what they expect of them, and they had one girl where her parents were the or this, and she said that she didn't like that. She did that. She wanted them screaming for her and cheering for her and everything else.
Which is fine if that's what your kid wants, and it doesn't distract the other 16 kids who are trying to play too. And there's appropriate ways to cheer. So we'll look at, tonight I'm just going to show you one video here, but tonight I'm going to contrast this video with my daughter at her first piano recital. Right? And when she makes a mistake in the piano recital, right, her teacher doesn't jump up and start screaming at her. Right? The parents don't groan and be like, what the hell are you doing? Right? But then here's a 6-year-old soccer game.
We could get some new footage this weekend. Is it the coach or just a random mom? It's just like a random mom, yeah.
Is she in your club? Like I've zoomed in on the license plates, just trying to figure out where this is so I can be safe.
She could be the assistant referee.
Yeah. She's moving up and down.
I mean, she's on the field.
This one's great. She's actually on the phone.
She's conference calling the daughter on the field.
So you're saying the movie Kicking and Screaming is actually a documentary?
Yeah.
This is the guy's filming this here at the end.
And I'm assuming she's not the coach.
She's like a cheerleader on crack. So if she was the coach or she's not the coach, does anyone think that that mom thinks that she's not helping? Right? Of course she thinks she's helping. And listen to her advice, right? Kick it, get it, follow that ball, put the ball in the goal, right? Even the 5-year-olds, they have that part down. Right? So there's a mom who loves her kids, who loves her daughter, who wants to help, but she's not helping. She's stealing the experience from them. And this environment here that exists in sports, right, it doesn't exist in math class. No one's like, oh yeah, I need to go to the math test and yell at kids, carry the one. Right? We don't do this. But yet, for some reason in sports, we feel like, oh man, I have to help, I have to scream. Some kids get used to it. Some kids say they like it. There's like Calvin and Hobbes. There's funny cartoons of like, why don't you yell at the referee's dad? Don't you love me anymore? But what most kids say, and I ask high school kids this, especially all the time, when I'm working with them, I say, first of all, do you want your parents to come or not? Most of them say no, not really. And I say, when your parents come, and if there's kids there tonight, I will ask them this, when your parents come to the game, what would you like them to say? And you know what the number one answer is by far? Nothing. Nothing. Say nothing. Kids always say that. Parents always say that. They're like, they want me to say nothing. And then they go to the game and they act like that. And then what kids say is, if you have to say something, please make it positive. And please, 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 whatever you do, don't yell at the referee because it's embarrassing. This is what children say over and over everywhere I go. And so we have to, as coaches, help our parents understand that this is what their kids want out of the experience. This is what they want on their sidelines. They want this to be a learning environment. And so the things that we can teach our parents are a couple of things, right? The experience has to belong to them. I'm going to teach the parents tonight about doing some goal setting and actually writing down their own goals for their kids and then comparing them to their kids' goals for playing and seeing how far apart they are or how close they are. Because I've coached some parents who said, yeah, my daughter's going to play at Stanford, and the daughter's like, I don't even want to play in high school. And so getting parents and kids on the same page. There's 3 key ingredients that I'll be teaching tonight that every athlete needs to succeed. And it's ownership, it's enjoyment, and it's intrinsic motivation. I don't care how fast someone is, how strong they are, how technical they are. If they don't have intrinsic motivation, if they don't love what they're doing, and they don't own the experience, they're going to quit. They're going to walk away. They're going to be done. And so as coaches, we can help give those things to our players, but we also have to make sure that our parents give those things to their players. Again, letting them fail, being patient in development. We are in such a hurry in this country to collect the best kids as soon as possible and make the all-star team at 7 years old, right? There are some, I used to live in Michigan, and now they're starting travel soccer at Michigan at U7. Give me a break. You know, we have the most beautiful, simple game where all you need is a ball and a space to play, and now there's a $1,000 barrier to entry, which is just nuts. So we have to be patient, and I know what you guys are doing, and Miles was telling me this morning with your academy program and keeping the 10s home and trying to hold off travel as long as possible. That is a good thing. Teach kids to play. Don't make barriers to participation. Right? You're a great player, you want to only play for 3 months? Sweet, we have a place for you. Want to play for 12 months? We'll do our best, even though we do think that you should play some other sports, you should try some other stuff. But we have programs. And we're going to be patient, and we're going to wait as long as possible to start focusing on outcomes. I love one of my favorite soccer stories is, anyone ever read the book Goal Mine Effect, Rasmus Ankerson? It's a really good book. He was a former pro Danish soccer player, and he helped start an academy at a club called Midlands, which just won the Danish League last year. It's a new club. And they formed their first 16-year-old team. And so they picked the players, and they needed one more for the team, and they couldn't decide who it was going to be. And so they had a really good team equipment manager and facilities manager, and they didn't want him to quit, so they took his kid. They said, hey, we want you, we love you, you do your job, we'll give your kid the last spot on the team. But guess what, you have to pay his way. Everyone else plays for free, you have to pay your kid's way, because we're giving them the spot. And so they train these kids for 6 months. These are 6 UEFA licensed coaches, A licensed coaches, former pro players, starting a pro youth academy. They trained these 16-year-olds for 6 months, 4 days a week, played games. And then they sat in a room like this, and they said, put 5 names in an envelope right now of which kid you think is going to make it as a pro in the next 5 years. And they all put them in, they all sealed them in. And 5 years later, that player, his name is Simon Kjær, was starting for Denmark in the 2010 World Cup, the equipment manager's son. And not one of those coaches put his name in that envelope. He was playing for Roma, he just transferred for $20 million. So when people are telling me, oh yeah, you know what, we're gonna, I can pick a player, right? The 8-year-olds, got them. Like, these are the best kids. You don't know that, it's impossible to know. It's impossible to know. If you're picking them at 8, you're only picking the kids that are helping you win today. You have no idea who's going to be the player there at 16 or 17, 18. There's so much more that goes into it. So we have to tell parents to be patient. It's okay if your kid's on the B team right now. If he or she loves it and they're going to work at it and the right things come together, they're going to be fine. I had a kid in Michigan who was a U15 on B team in our club because he was just small and he was the last kid to grow. And we kept him there. We said, no, we're not going to move you up yet. He almost quit. We sat down with his parents and said, you have everything except the physical piece right now. So play in a place where you can actually play. And then 3 years later, freshman in college, he was starting at center midfielder for Duke. Right? B team in an okay club, third best team in the state of Michigan. B team at age 15, starting for Duke at 18. We have to be patient. Gotta leave them alone on the ride home. When they ask kids, what is your worst memory of youth sports, that's what they say. The ride home after games. And as coaches, I think this falls into the category of our post-game talk. The less you say, the better. I rarely have said something in anger or frustration that I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I said that. Right? Usually after you're like, why did I say that? It wasn't helping. It's hurting. So many parents think that, you know, hey, I got kids that are here, it's FaceTime, and I'm locked in the car. And this is the teachable moment. What the kids tell us is this is the least teachable moment. What they actually tell us is, especially when we won by a lot or lost by a lot, it's even a less teachable moment. If we just got killed, I know we got killed, I don't need to hear it anymore, I already feel bad enough. And if we just won, can't I just hear something good for a little bit here? Let's talk about it at dinner, let's talk about it tomorrow. And I just love watching them play. This is 5 words I'm going to teach people tonight. So I talk about my TED Talk, it's everything. If we could just get parents after games, hey, I just love watching you play. I love being out here. And us coaches, we can get that message across to our kids that, hey, we're proud of you, you're giving your best effort, you're doing your most, and I just love that it's an honor to be your coach. That's when kids are freed from the responsibility from the parents' happiness, they're freed from the responsibility of our happiness as a coach, and that's when they really just let go and play. Alright? So a couple of resources for you. Anyone read Inside Out Coaching? Joe Erdman is the best coaching book out there. He's an NFL player. All about what he calls transformational coaching. Serving the player first, and serving yourself last is the way to truly transform lives. Soup, guy John Gordon has a whole ton of books that are great. Soup is just about creating a great culture in your organization, but he's got a book called The Hard Hat about being a great teammate. He's got a book called The Energy Bus about people who bring positive energy. Now that is, so John Gordon's got a ton of fantastic stuff. And then for parents, my book, which I'm going to give you all a free copy of here in just a little bit, free ebook copy, and then all the parents who come tonight, they can get the ebook from me for free tonight too. So we're going to put this in their hands as a guide to helping their kids create the right state of mind to play, and so as coaches and as directors, you can hold them accountable for hey, you've got information on how to help here. Okay? I'll give you that link in a sec, but I want to finish with this. What happens when you put it all together? What happens when you have an organization, you have a team, and you have the right values that are defined, and you have the right leadership in place, and you have the right parents in place? I think it all comes together. And so I have one little example of coaching here that I think is the best example of coaching I've seen. It's not a soccer example. I'm sure there's one out there. It just didn't happen to be on ESPN.
Everybody, heads up high. Heads up high. Let's talk for a moment now. Look, I can see your eyes, guys. Okay? There's no disappointment, okay, in your effort, okay, in the whole tournament, the whole season. It's been an incredible journey, okay? We fought, look at the score, 8-7, okay, 12-10 in hits, came to the last out, we didn't quit. That's us. Boys, that's us. The only reason why, okay, I'll probably end up shedding a tear is because this is the last time I'm going to end up coaching you guys. But I'm going to bring back with me, and the coaching staff is going to bring back me, and you guys are going to bring back something, okay, that no other team can provide for you guys.